On September 11, 2001, while the attacks unfolded in New York and Washington, blast doors began sealing shut at a facility in the mountains of Pennsylvania. This is Site R, also known as Raven Rock, officially called the Alternate National Military Command Center. For nearly 50 years, the U.S. government refused to acknowledge it existed. It's designed for one purpose. If Washington is destroyed, the military command structure continues from here. And it's been activated more than most people realize. In 1949, the Soviet Union tested its first atomic bomb, years earlier than American intelligence predicted. Suddenly, the possibility of losing the nation's capital became real. Construction of Raven Rock began in 1951 in the Blue Ridge Mountains, just 6 miles north of the presidential retreat at Camp David on the Maryland-Pennsylvania border. The location was chosen for 3 reasons: close enough to Washington for rapid evacuation, remote enough for secrecy, and surrounded by greenstone granite, one of the hardest rock formations in North America. Over the next 3 years, engineers blasted into the mountainside, creating a massive complex deep inside the mountain. The facility includes 5 3-story buildings, its own power generation, water reservoirs, and air filtration systems designed to sustain operations for months under complete isolation. The purpose was straightforward: ensure continuity of military command if the Pentagon and White House were destroyed. To understand what Raven Rock actually is, you need to picture the engineering. The facility isn't a series of tunnels carved into rock. It's something more unusual. A massive cavern was excavated inside the mountain, and then 5 separate buildings, each 3 stories tall, were constructed inside that hollow space. This means security personnel can patrol the perimeter of the buildings while still being hundreds of feet underground, completely enclosed by the mountain itself. The buildings are designed to house approximately 3,000 personnel during full activation, with sleeping quarters, mess halls, medical facilities, and command centers. But here's the critical detail. Each building is mounted on a system of giant springs and shock absorbers. The entire structure can flex and move independently from the surrounding rock. This design allows the facility to withstand blast overpressure of 140 pounds per square inch, enough to survive nuclear detonations in the surrounding area. The entrance is protected by blast doors weighing 34 tons each, designed to create an airtight barrier against radiation and fallout. It's engineered to survive scenarios that would destroy conventional fortifications, though not infinitely. A direct hit from a high-yield nuclear weapon would still breach the facility. Its strength lies in surviving nearby blasts and maintaining operations through extended fallout. For 11 years after its completion, Raven Rock operated in standby mode, staffed but dormant. Then came the Cuban Missile Crisis. Just 15 days before the crisis began, Raven Rock had been officially designated the Alternate National Military Command Center. When reconnaissance confirmed Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba, the facility's purpose became suddenly and urgently real. While President Kennedy negotiated publicly, the Alternate Command Center stood ready, its communication systems prepared to coordinate a military response if Washington was hit. The facility had been built for exactly this scenario, and for 13 tense days in October 1962, that scenario felt inevitable. 20 years later, during a NATO exercise called Able Archer 83, something unexpected happened. The exercise simulated nuclear launch procedures with unusual realism, using actual encrypted communications and alert protocols. Soviet intelligence, already on edge from deteriorating U.S.-Soviet relations, interpreted the exercise as potential cover for a real first strike. The Soviets elevated their nuclear forces to combat readiness. NATO command centers, including Raven Rock, responded accordingly. For several days, both sides operated under heightened alert protocols. Declassified documents later revealed how close this came to actual escalation, not through intention, but through misinterpretation. Decades of secrecy have generated their share of speculation about Raven Rock. One persistent rumor claims secret tunnels connect the facility directly to Camp David, or even to the White House itself. Miles of underground passages allowing the president to evacuate without ever surfacing. there's no documented evidence these tunnels exist. What is documented, Raven Rock's proximity to Camp David, is deliberate. The presidential retreat sits just 6 miles away. If needed, a president at Camp David could be transported to Site R in minutes by helicopter or secure ground convoy. The mythology around the facility reflects something real, the uncomfortable reality that such contingencies have been planned in detail, even if the specifics remain classified. After the Cold War ended, many assumed facilities like Raven Rock would be mothballed. Instead, they were modernized. The facility was activated again on September 11, 2001, when the continuity of government protocol was triggered for the first time in the post-Cold War era. Personnel remained on site for weeks as the full scope of the attacks and potential follow-up threats were assessed. Today, Raven Rock isn't just a doomsday shelter. It serves as an alternate command center for NORAD and U.S. Northern Command, integrated into daily military communications networks to provide redundancy even during peacetime operations. It maintains readiness for scenarios ranging from nuclear attack to cyber warfare to natural disasters that could disable Washington. The facility has undergone significant infrastructure upgrades in recent years to handle modern communication systems and cyber threats. As journalist and author Garrett Graff noted in 2017, Raven Rock is the place where nuclear war in the United States would begin. If primary leadership were incapacitated, the orders to launch nuclear forces would come from here. The specific protocols for when and how it would be activated remain classified. Raven Rock was built for a specific Cold War threat, but its purpose has evolved. It represents a permanent assumption in American defense planning that command structure must be protected against any scenario that could decapitate civilian and military leadership. The facility isn't a relic. It's an active installation, operating quietly in the mountains, maintained for a contingency everyone hopes will never come. But it's ready.